His idea.
It is my idea. So we honestly don't have a title for this because it's really, I don't know why.
Controversial.
It's not controversial at all. But the thing about it, we're gonna explain. Well, we're gonna kind of discuss who we think are really good players in each region stuck on bad teams, because there is a few of those.
He had more than I did.
Yeah. Essentially, what we're gonna be doing is we're not gonna tackle multiple, for the most part, unless you have your own.
I got like 2 people.
If you want to tackle your own, that's fine. But I'm gonna only put 1 per region because I feel like we can go.
He's got 5 people.
I got 4 people.
More than me. He's going first. This is his stuff.
Not per region.
Inside
altogether.
for nerds. JTH and the Nightwing.
First person I want to tackle is the most is probably the most obvious and most discussed out of everybody is gonna be NA, and it's gonna be Dardoch.
The For Fun region.
NA Dardoch. So obviously Dardoch, the single best jungler in the league last split. I think that is most of the, like, for the most part, unarguable. He, from the beginning of the split to the end, even when his team struggled, he seemed to still be this, like, an extremely serious carry threat. He didn't let these mental issues get to him. So for the most part, I think he's mentally sound at this point, and I think he is capable of pretty much playing anything you put him on. I really don't understand how in the world you get the 2 best junglers in the league and somehow put Dardoch in the Academy League.
Our jungle is gonna be all messed up.
Yeah, essentially Dardoch is in the Academy League, and if you watched him the season before, you like, that's unbelievable. The single most impressive jungler in the league.
I would never put Dardoch in an Academy.
I'd never put him on Optic to begin with, but I guess I don't have that choice.
Our jungle rankings are gonna be all messed up.
Well, maybe
because we put Dardoch and Meteos as first.
No, I mean, second.
I said unless whoever starts, I said Smithy is my favorite. So I was right more than him. So I'm put that out there.
Well, we already knew that one of them wasn't starting.
Yeah, but just Dardoch on Optic. Don't see a way, and this is working.
I just don't understand why you put him, a really insanely good player, in the Academy League. He's already proven himself. He doesn't need time to meld with teams. At this point, like, just put him on TSM and kick Ziggs, because apparently I feel like that's the reason they wouldn't pick him up.
Yeah, because they had worked together before.
They in CLG, and that didn't work out. I feel like if anybody, like, at this point, I don't see a reason why Dardoch needs to not be on it. I don't know. Like, what team couldn't he meld with? What team couldn't mesh with him?
Because we didn't hear about any toxicity rumors
I think
last year.
Yeah, we didn't. I think that he's definitely improved, and I think he would be a valuable asset to pretty much any team in the league. Try and buy him out from the Academy slot, man. This is just wasted potential at this point that should not be.
If C9, since Scared and Blabber were left, C9 was going to go buy Dardoch. And then they would be first. They would probably win a split again. But that's just what I feel. Dang it. Bad players on good players on bad teams.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why he's there.
Yeah, I don't understand either, man.
What is the point? He was all NA LCS first pro jungler twice. That means that he outperforms 9 other people. That means literally he's playing better than all the league.
Yeah, and I took a picture with him one time, and he rubbed my back the entire time.
Dark took a picture of me and smiled with me.
He didn't. He
said, "Hey, I love you, man. I miss you."
Shut up. So obviously, I think that for the most part,
everything this guy does is a key jungler. Yeah. He ints on Lee Sin quite a bit, but that's just like.
I mean, honestly,
other than that, like,
there's teams that are missing vital jungle positions like 100 Thieves and Cloud9, and he's not an import slot.
He's wasted an Optic Academy.
Yeah, he can play anything you put him on, and there's so many top tier teams who are missing a jungler to put him at the very top.
And then teams like I mean, Cloud9's team is fine. Like, who else? Who'd be in 4th?
I'm gonna say
someone in 4th to 6th place. I could use him.
I mean, even Cloud9 in general could use him. Cloud9, I think that Cloud9.
If they had Dardoch, I could see them being first place.
Yeah, Cloud9, TSM, and 100 Thieves all could use him. Those are 3 top tier teams.
Those are the top tier teams in general. But having him would put them at least second. You're at least getting second.
And even like CLG could use him.
Oh, yeah, we saw that worked out.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Zinger. Don't we just love doing videos together?
Not when you touch me.
Golden Guardians. What if Golden Guardians had Dardoch?
Golden Guardians.
They had contracts.
Yeah,
the person you power ranked at 10th. In your jungle rankings.
11th, actually.
If Raynor was here, he said contract would have got 11th.
He would have got 11th, and Raynor would have got 12th, but he isn't. So, essentially, contracts would easily be, like, he could make this team 100% in the top 4. I think they would be top 4 team if he was on here.
Mm-hmm.
But without him, I think that like essentially any of these teams could be the best team in the league. Like any of these top 4 teams could be the best team in the league 100% if they had Dardoch on them. Yet he's on the academy scene.
The only thing I can think of is that he just wants to take the split off because
didn't.
some people do not take spring seriously.
He even mentioned that he was sarcastic when he said, "Oh, lol, I'm just gonna develop my talent in the scene." Yeah, he's really upset about this, and I feel bad for
How do
him.
you develop talent if you already have it?
He was just being sarcastic. He said that he was being sarcastic. He's obviously upset with this, and obviously he deserves to be.
See, this is the issue. He didn't have toxicity issues, but I think the reputation of him being formerly toxic kind of made teams not pick him though. It would be the same thing like Forgiven. Forgiven's good, but his track record of being toxic, teams don't want to take a risk on that. It's just a professional thing. Wade actually talked about this about Forgiven. It's just like I mentioned that if you have something as a track record, teams in general won't take the risk because these guys have a business. They want to be running professionally. Having a guy like that wouldn't and it's just like you being associated with that is the bad thing. But if for did I have a player for a bad team? For NA? Haunter on Golden Guardians?
No, I think that team has a pretty decent chance. They
what was it?
Haunter Forgiven,
Haunter Froggen,
and then a good bot lane. I think they're fine.
Was it? There was a player that I don't like on a certain team. Oh, Crown on Optic. I think that. Oh yeah, it was Crown. People are gonna say good player. I mean, tomato type thing. People can have bad years. People look at the greatest NBA players. Kobe Bryant's had a couple bad years, but you look at Crown and you go like, how can this guy possibly get better? Even because he's still a solid player, But like, how can he get better on Optic? I don't see a world in that happening. I just don't see a world in that happening. Or if you don't want to use Crown, you could just use the other jungler they have. That's Meteos. I think that Meteos is a fantastic player. Leads his teams, gets into finals. He ain't leading no Optic Gaming to no finals this split.
Yeah, I feel like.
if he does, holy crap.
Yeah, I feel like both of these junglers were top 2 tier, like 80. Junglers in the league, and I feel like either one of them could be mentioned. That just really goes to show how.
So for me, it's either Crown or Meteos. Crown is kind of a wild card pick, but if you want to do Meteos is fine. Yeah. I think that Meteos as a player should never even look at this team. Hashtag Greenwall, and then someone's like hashtag Paywall, because
Shut your mouth, mate. Stop making weird things come out.
I gotta relate to the kids nowadays.
You are a kids, man. So obviously, I want to point out that either one that shows how mismanaged this team is when both of your players, these best players, are in the same position. And I'm gonna mention them both because honestly, Meteos
this is horrible.
Yeah, honestly, Meteos is 100% another player who I would say is He's misused on this team. There's no reason to have 2 amazing junglers on this team.
I will 100% eat my words if they get to the finals.
I mean,
if they make a 3rd place match, I'll literally like.
I'm not gonna feel bad. Like honestly,
if they make a 3rd place match, that's actually way better.
On paper and logically, this team shouldn't work. If it does, then who knows? But
if it does work,
they have no logical reasoning based off of what we know. Like us fans, maybe they have something behind the scenes, but what we've seen on the stage. This team shouldn't work. This team should not work, and if it does, who cares? Like we just
luck.
didn't. No, it's not.
I would say that's really lucky.
It's more so this team coming together or teams underperforming that this happens. But
because there's no way a logical person looks at this and go, yeah, they might make 4th place. I don't think a logical person does that. If you look at this roster, but I mean, I'm just gonna call like I see it. It would be highly unlikely they get anything above 5th. Probably highly unlikely. I would see them beating top tier teams. Like
they have very pop offish players, so I could see it happening. But for the most part, probably not going to. Like
Optic last year literally thrived in clown fiestas.
So I think we should skip to the next region.
Let's
go to EU, and the most like I would say right now I'm gonna put it on Vander. Vander is on. If anybody knows, he's on the academy.
He announced this yesterday. Kind of a bit of a news. Vander's on Rogue Academy.
Yeah, he's on the academy roster for Rogue. Somebody who's been one of the most prolific supports inside of the EU LCS.
Yeah.
And I think he performed well for the recent. Like
they chose that guy. They chose Wadid over Vander.
Yeah, I just feel like there's no reason Wadid should be considered over Vander. I mean, Vander has been one of the single most consistent jungle. Like I feel like he kind of struggled last year. I'll give it that.
I don't even know if he struggled.
But he didn't. Like I still think he was one of the better supports.
I think it was just the Schalke just didn't know what team they wanted to be.
I mean, I think that in terms of pretty much anything Vander can bring, he's one of the most like in any aspect of the game in terms of what supports can bring, I think he does it. I think that he has been one of the best supports in the league for quite some time. So the fact that they don't play him, or the fact that they're putting him on the academy scene below Wadid, who I honestly think is still good, but not great.
I think he's serviceable.
Serviceable. I feel like.
But I think that if you're trying to be rogue and you're a new franchise team, I think you put a person like Vander in there. First.
I really would prefer to see Vander on this team. I would prefer to see Vander on a starting roster.
I told him that I could see Vander being put in if Wadid underperforms.
That's always going to be the case, though. If they have support like backups, they're always going to put in them in front of them. I really don't. I don't see him not being on the starting roster for now. I mean, at the end of the season. For the most part, I really just. I don't understand it, man. Why are all these great players being put in the academy scene?
Like, I don't know.
Like, I get it. I mean, I get it. I do think that he kind of wasn't at his best in best form during last split.
That's like
I still think he's
it's
good.
so often. It's so see, not himself would be something like he's face checking a lot or he's just losing constantly, like stuff like that. I don't think he was losing. It's just like Schalke. That team didn't know what they wanted to be. Most of the year, when they finally got it together, it's too late because, well, Fnatic just was the best team overall in general in Europe, and I think that Schalke just had an identity crisis all year long. You know, that's just what I thought about them.
Yeah.
But
So for the most part, I think that he is the in terms of bad teams. There's obviously a lot of players in EU. EU in general is just kind of it's kind of a mess right now. All these good players are getting stuck on bad teams, and all the top teams are stacked. Like, there's just no, I wouldn't even say they're stacked, man. There's just so many weaknesses all around. But I feel like we don't know how many of all these new players are going to perform, obviously, so I can't really say anything yet. But for the most part, I think that he is one of the most underappreciated supports in the league right now. There's no reason that somebody as consistently good as he is should not be on a team. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
my one for EU was Kassing on. It's a support actually. Kassing on Excel.
Oh yeah, that's actually
with
good.
not Linderon, with Kadrill and Exile. Like, and you get Kassing was overall. I thought he got all NALs. Oh, he was the second best. He was the second best support all last year in EU.
I think he's arguably at this point more of a question mark to me. Like I get you want to build a strong team around Kassing, but like build players. There you don't have players right now.
I thought Kassing was arguably top 3 support all year long.
I don't know about 3. I'd
say top 3 at least.
Maybe 3.
Because he really didn't even have like bad weeks. I think the worst time he had was in that regional qualifier. All the teams were blown out at that point. They were just. I
just feel like at least he has a starting roster though. I'm glad that's the situation. But right now he's a starting roster on a terrible team. I don't see a team with Exile who
Exile, Kadrill, and Expect, right?
Holy
moly!
Exile is either Exile either plays to the skill of Deft.
Deftly
or to the Deftly, yeah. Like Deftly is still good, but like he's a mess, man. Like the fact
Exile
that you
can be like Bjergsen, or he can be like
that's probably
Pyrian.
That's probably a better comparison. But,
Gosh.
But for the most part, I think that this dude is so inconsistent, and then you have Kadrill, who's Kadrill, so there's that. Like this dude
he played jungle games. He played a lot of them. They were bad.
Yeah, he was
the whole split bad.
I don't even know.
This is like 9 weeks.
Yeah, I don't even know if he was the worst mid laner or jungler throughout his entire career.
That's the worst part. He played 9 weeks of jungle Zac and like failed to jungle on Zac. The easiest jungler in the game.
I don't know about that. Easiest?
Zac is pretty easy compared to all the other junglers.
I don't know if he's the easiest jungler.
I mean, the Gragas mechanics though.
Xin Zhao.
He couldn't play that.
What I'm saying is, for the most part, I think that he is a completely
I think Kassing is an overall fantastic.
He's just too good, and the amount of inconsistent and lack of talent on this team is just it's kind of a tragedy.
They
honestly.
wanted to build UK talent.
You build that are all these players from the UK
except for Expect, right? Excel has Expect. What? No, this team's gonna suck.
Excel.
I don't see a world in they're making like past 8th. What?
Like this team has some good like you're gonna see teams like Expect obviously is good. I think Expect is a good player.
Expect probably became a really good top laner toward the end.
So we're gonna have Expect, Kassing, and then we're gonna see random games of Exile becoming Faker, and this team's gonna win games against the top teams, and then you're
It
gonna
comes playoffs and Exile
they're
gets
not gonna
banned
make it to
out.
the playoffs. I'm just saying,
If they make the playoffs barely,
Yeah.
Exile gets banned out in a couple of games and they just lose.
like like they're gonna be consistently winning games against good, like inconsistently winning games against the top tier teams.
They could be the next Rocat. The curse of 1-1.
I don't know, maybe.
I can see them going. I can see them going 0-6 in their first 3 weeks.
I don't know, man. I just think there's a lot of bad teams in the EU in terms of the bottom teams, so I could easily see them taking games off them.
So that's EU. So next is on to our China number ones.
Are we good? Let's go to Korea next.
Korea.
Let's go to China
I
because
don't have
like
any
China.
China, honestly.
I have in
No.
China. I'm good. But
Do I don't. I just don't have one for China.
let's
I
go
think
to.
I do.
I get one on, but let's go to Korea, and I think, like for the most part, I don't think any of the good players are on bad. Like the bad teams are just bad. Like for
Yeah.
the most part, they don't have good players or players that are
The
proven.
only way those teams do well is unless like those players somehow just surprise everybody.
But for the most part, the bad teams, I want to point out that we could probably, there's a few bad players that I think that we could put a focus on a. What was it? We could put a focus. First one I want to point out is Linderong. He's the
I've always watched this guy on the competitive scene, and I think that Linderong has always been a decent, really good player. Just always been on just bad teams. Well, he's only ever been on the what's that? He was on the newly formed Rocks Tigers, and then they sucked. And they rebranded to Hanawa Life. He's still pretty good on that. And then Linderong is now on Jinnar Greenwings, so just take a vacation all year because Jinnar Greenwings is not going to be good, and they're not going to be good without Teddy. So it's like Linderong, I think, is just an overall great player, still not a bad team. Why does that guy have a good team?
I feel like
He
honestly
plays tanks really well. His carry
yeah.
potential's there. He's only inconsistent because you can't win 1v9 in professional league. That's right. It's not gonna happen anymore.
Yeah. I think that
You can play through him.
I don't think Linderong is the same, like one of the top laners in the league. Obviously, the top 3 top laners and 4.
I could see him becoming a QV one day.
I could see him easily competing with. But for the most part, the elite top laners obviously just ridiculous. But they're all on decent teams to where I could see them competing. But Linderong is a pretty great top laner for the most part, who I think can compete internationally. Who's just he's on a Jinnar Greenwings who I just don't think are gonna do anything, man.
Jinnar, their best player is like Stitch, Grace.
Stitch isn't bad. Stitch is
Grace
pretty
is not that
decent,
bad either.
but.
Like
Their best player last year was Teddy, and he's gone. So I think this team is obviously downgraded, and they're going to be, in my opinion, going to be 10th place.
They're gonna be fighting for that relegation spot again.
They're going to be relegated because I think a lot of the teams coming into the league
That's the problem. Those challenger Korean teams coming in aren't bad.
a few of them are decent. I could see AFC and at the Prince team that lost to.
Oh
I could see them doing. They looked pretty decent around the map, but for the most part, I don't see them making it into the. I think they're going to get relegated in the spring split. I think they're going to be out of it.
If you guys are Jinnar Grooming fans, this might be your last split.
Yeah, and honestly, Linderong does not deserve to be on a team like that. Linderong does not deserve to be in a spot where he's not going to be in the league anymore. Like I feel like there's a few of the middle of the pack teams who could pick him up afterwards, but like he's not enough to keep this team from relegation. And
like for their team, Jinnar's team would do fine in other regions like EU and North America. And I mean fine, I mean like amazing. But in Korea, you have Grace, Stitch, and Linderong. Holy crap! You can't play through Linderong because he's always gonna most consistently be on tank duty because they're gonna have a tank player because they want to carry through their other horrible positions. Who was their jungler now?
who's their
Jinnar's
jungler?
group. Isn't there a jungler like Nova or something? Jinnar's team is just all around not good right now.
Jinnar's jungler is that weird, like, what is his name, man? I don't even know it. What's up? I don't know what his name is anymore. Like, yeah, it's gonna be it's 2 people.
Malorong.
I don't know which one's gonna be a starter because I don't know either. I'm gonna put it out there. I don't
Did
know.
Malorong play last year?
I don't know anything about him.
No, Cacao played a couple games. I remember that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't know either one of these players. The junglers, all of these players for the most part, awesome. Hey, stop it. Oh yeah, it's one of these.
He's looking at girls.
Nope. I don't want to see that. It's essentially this team all around they're attempting to build talent. They got Stitch, who I think is a pretty great ADC. I think he's pretty decent. I think he's going to be pretty okay on this team. For the most part, it's just a lot of unproven talent that I don't think is going to say it's not going to function well.
They have to get so lucky to even possibly get 6.
What I'm saying is they're not going to function well in a league that is honestly full of stacked rosters.
I'm not gonna lie, Korea. They might have sucked last year.
But
they're still better. They're still a good region. So you got to factor in everybody else still kind of upgraded with the best tools they had possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Jin Air didn't.
I'm gonna say every team downgraded besides SKT. Obviously, I think that all the other teams are worse than last year.
But they're still good enough to be top tier.
They're good enough. They have at least 2 to 3 superstars on their team, and Jin Air has none. And Linderong is a pretty solid player who's should not be out of the league.
So that's for Korea.
Wait,
no. Do you have someone else for Korea?
I actually was thinking about pointing out the fact that I think that Key is the support from actually it's Hanawa Life. If anybody remembers him, he came into the scene playing with Loken inside of the ESC ever. And if anybody remembers that, he kind of got replaced because of his inconsistencies during the beginning of the league. But for the most part, I think he's one of the single hardest carry supports in the league. He can be. And
I think what he was bringing.
I think that
he plays engage supports very well. He played tank supports very well. He played he didn't face check a lot and die. They were winning lane.
I think that
the problem with Hanawa Life was that they were just so bad compared to like the better teams in them.
It's more so they just had a lot of weaknesses around the map. Like who's their second best player? It's
they try to play around Thal.
Yeah, Thal is gonna be their second best player probably, and then Sang Yoon is probably gonna be and those are two not.
Sang Yoon is actually not that bad either.
He's not either. But I think for the most part, you're going to have a lot of players on this team who just aren't that strong. I think that even Thal himself obviously isn't that good. So we're going to see a lot of players who are struggling to even compete around the map, and I think that they're not going to get last place. Obviously, I still think they're going to get probably the same position they got last, but it's 6th. I think they're going to be 8th. I think there's too many good players in the league.
Do you think that Daewon Comics are going to be better?
I think that Daewon Comics looked really good inside of the Kespa Cup so far.
Crap. Maybe they might. So now we did NA.
Well, I mean, I just want to point out, Key has struggled with inconsistency for most of his career, but the fact is that I think that he could be he can fill these slots that some of these Korean talents need. Korean teams need. Like there's a lot of top upper tier. I don't think he's a top tier support because he's inconsistent, but there's a lot of these middle of the pack teams that could really use him. They don't have any of these show off really solid players on their team.
Sang Yoon is just who's in North America you would compare to Sang Yoon? Pole Belter. He's better than Pole Belter. Are you gonna compete with the better Pole Belter? That's what Sang Yoon is, if you want to be really honest with it.
I just really think
Thal is kind of who's a bad Korean over here? It's
Korean.
Thal is a worse version of Impact.
Worse? I think in
terms of what he's bringing, he brings it worse than Impact does.
I think he might be a better version. I think or slightly.
So you're not competing for the top with Impact maybe.
What I want to point out is on a better team, I think there's been so many weaknesses on the teams he's been on that on a better team, I could see Key honestly most of his weaknesses that he shows being covered up with these better players.
What if SAT had got Key?
They would be worse.
I don't know.
Mata is no.
I think he would play great, but I don't think he's going to provide you the same standard as Mata.
No, Mata's just a better player all around.
No, I know, but if they couldn't get Mata.
If they couldn't get Mata
and got Key.
I think inconsistency is something on a super team you don't want. So I'm gonna say that he would look better, but he'd still be inconsistent. I think he'd be less inconsistent on a bad team, obviously. But that really goes for pretty much anybody, honestly.
He should go to Genji.
He should go to Genji?
Probably.
I don't think that... Who do they have? Oh, they have a...
Oh, they have... I actually want to see their new support. I'm still a Genji fan.
No, it's that one... It's that one dude. I forgot his name. It's not a new... It's a new player in the scene.
Oh, because remember how we said Korea's gonna have to...
Yeah, Life has actually been in this, but he's been a backup his entire career.
Oh yeah.
I
remember. People have mentioned before.
Yeah, he has been the backup on Genji for the longest time, and apparently since Core JJ left, he's gonna be taking the limelight now.
They've had good supports.
I don't.
Wraith,
I think that
JJ.
I think Life. I don't know.
From what I've seen, they haven't played in the Kespa Cup yet, I think.
He wasn't on the team when they were Samsung, so I don't even know if Wraith wasn't on the team when he was on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that life it's really unlikely that he is. I mean, gonna be great since he has not been able to take over a starting spot. But I do. Wow, he's born in 2000. Oh my God, he's born in the 2000s.
You guys are some youngins.
Wow, but for the most part, I do think he's gonna struggle with a lot of inconsistencies. Like, I don't see somebody coming into the league.
A new player can only go like one of two ways, though. They're gonna be bad or they're gonna be really good.
He could be average. I think that's very impossible, but I just think it's unlikely. I just don't see him struggle. I mean, if he was unable to get a starting spot or at least be convincing enough for another team to pick him up, I don't think he's gonna be good. I think he could easily take this spot over.
There
But
we
then,
go. I got my player for China when we go to it.
all right, and
Just remembered him.
I want to put out Key. Like, obviously, a lot of people aren't gonna say that, but
I think Marn should be on the team too, but
I don't know. Marin's been struggling a lot recently.
his teams have been really bad.
So is he.
He's been okay.
He's been pretty bad.
God.
Yeah, but
TSM!
his Tourette's flares up every once in a while. I'm sorry.
He misses me on videos. He
don't.
needs me.
I don't really. But
Back to the solo Dane.
Yeah. Okay, stop it. Stop being weird, man.
Okay.
All right, so I do like obviously, I think that's pretty much it for Korea. But those are my two for that.
Maybe go to a Freak of Freaks. Yeah, maybe that would work out better.
Don't they? Who do they have right now?
They would have had Soul and Key.
No, they have somebody in. Who's the bot laner for
The new guy? I don't know. I forgot. That's a new person. So a complete new guy. But yeah, I think QB be just fine. I gotta turn on the brightness on my phone.
All right, so let's go to China, the last region, and probably the most vague one. There's not stats. There's not anything really recorded in China, so it's kind of hard to get the view unless you actually watch. But you want to go first?
China, I had Flawless actually. I thought Flawless has been a really solid, good player. They said he actually went to a bad team. I don't know what team he went to.
He was actually in the Kespa Cup. I mean, not the Demacia Cup. I forgot.
Flawless was on Rogue Warriors. I thought he looked pretty good. And I think they said he went to a bad team, so I don't want. I have another player, but I just wanted to put him out there first. Flawless is on.
Oh, is he on?
He's on JD now, right? That what they said?
Yeah, he's on JD Gaming, and I think that
JD Gaming is gonna probably look marginally worse. Maybe.
I think he's a decent jungler all around, but I remember them picking up during the off season to kind of like what they're going to be doing is the reason.
Yeah, that's why he's on a bad. That's what I wanted to say. He's with Levi.
He's not going to be playing on this team. Honestly, the reason Levi, if you watch the Demacia Cup, the reason that Levi did not play is because he had visa issues, so he couldn't show up. Flawless, as of right now, is a serviceable jungler, but I think he's above average and a lot. I mean, there's a lot of junglers in the league that are better than him, but I do think he's above average. I want to point that out. I do think
Zoom is really good.
Zoom is okay.
He got all China Pro, I think, first, right?
Yeah, he didn't look great in the.
I thought it looked fine.
I don't know, man.
Yagao is a nice mid laner. Like, I just don't see their team doing the same results they had last year.
I don't think this team is going to be good at all, honestly. Even Levi, I haven't seen him enough. I want to say he's going to be good, but I don't know. But for the most part, I would actually put Levi in this spot, if anybody, because I think all around this team is looking pretty bad. I think Zoom is probably the second best player on this team, and we obviously don't think that Flawless is probably not going to perform and play when Levi gets to the point.
I think Flawless should just be on a different team.
Flawless should be on a different team, I think. But for the most part, I think that Levi is the secondary. Like, Levi isn't my person, but now that he's pointed out, I do want to point him out. With a good player, with a pretty substantial amount of bad players on this team, I think that his performances are going to be kind of mitigated because he's going to look a lot worse as a carry jungler on a team that's not able to handle a carry jungler. Like, this team does not look like they have any real strengths around the map that aren't going to be kind of disregarded by other better teams. Like, I do think they have a pretty solid top laner, and I do think their bottom lane is not terrible. I do think it's one of the lower tier.
I didn't even know he was actually Korean. That's the
Levi is Vietnamese.
No,
Flawless.
That's weird. That puts him in a really odd position because in China, when they use up those Korean import slots, you have to be good.
I think he is still pretty solid, but I don't think he's going to be holding that slot for much longer. And honestly, if
he wants to get paid, but I think he should just go back to Korea. Honestly.
I don't think he's going to be taking a Korean slot, honestly.
Yes, I mean it's too late now, but gosh, that's my Chinese player, Flawless.
All right,
that's pretty much all I had.
And I actually have one. Obviously, I just went over the facts with Levi. I still think that's a good player that is going to be kind of I still think they're going to be a middle of the pack team, but again, they're not going to be that good. Like they have a lot of clear defined weaknesses.
I think they just surprised the last time they
But
played.
I do I'm gonna put the single one out of every single person in this team. I'm gonna point out this is probably the worst one. It's gonna be a jungler that I've went over a few times as my favorite jungler is gonna be SOFM. SOFM has been stuck on Snake Gaming since the beginning of his career. For the most part, I mean, he's played in the
And he's never had success.
he's played in the Vietnamese league. I mean, they made the playoff once, but he has been.
Oh yeah, they did.
During his first season inside of Snake Gaming, I can say, in my opinion, he was the single best jungler in the world at that point. Rek'Sai, Gragas were in the meta, and he was the best. Like, if anybody actually watched just play, he was tracking every jungler, tracking Krug camps to the exact second without having complete vision on them the entire time. Like, if you had seen this man in action when he first came into the league, the dude was like, I really don't like. People are gonna say this is kind of a drastic claim, but I really want you guys to go over some of his earlier Snake Gaming.
Even if you don't do that, if you just watch the Snake Gaming games, you watch. Sometimes to get a gauge of a good player, just go in watching one person and see just exactly what they do. If you go in watching just what he does, he's still really good.
Yeah, I do want. So, yeah, if you want to see
don't count the whole team, just only watch that guy. Like he's the only interesting one.
Essentially, Levi. I mean, he's Vietnamese like Levi, but I think he's a completely way better player. I think all around he's a smarter player and he's a better carry. I do like Levi, but I think that SOFM has been struggling. Essentially, the only good player he's ever had on his team has been Flandre, and even Flandre himself is kind of the starter.
God, Flandre is like
he's
way up and down.
Yeah, he was really consistent, and then all of a sudden he's been kind of struggling this past year. Snake Gaming has literally been single-handedly being carried by this
Snake Esports.
Yeah, go down. Yeah, they've been getting carried specifically by what's it called?
See, I don't even think Maestro's that bad.
I do really not think he's. I
don't think he's impressive, but I don't think he's like bad.
I think they're all bad. I think the second best player on the team last year was probably Light, and Light's gone. Light wasn't even good. I think that was just
they didn't even need him.
Yeah, Light was the second best player on the team because Flandre was kind of struggling. Flandre was still the second best player. I'm gonna take that back. Flandre was struggling last year.
I did forget one, but the mid laner coming in now is Korean, right? Mala, as they said.
I don't know anything about him. I really don't.
Was Andy their mid laner? I'm pretty sure Andy was their mid laner.
No, I don't remember who their team was. I mean, like right now, I don't know what their team is like now. They replaced a lot of them.
Yeah,
I think
that they might surprise this year.
Like they have two players. Their whole bot lane is going to be different, from my opinion, from my knowledge. I mean, their mid and bot. The mid and bot's going to be different this year, and I really don't know enough about them. I'm not going to put my opinion out there. Mm-hmm. But SOFM has literally been the single out of everybody. I really don't want to see him go out without at least having some run at Worlds because he has been just incredible. His entire career has been incredible. And it's just been kind of overshadowed by the fact he's had no domestic success. No domestic success on a team that's really relatively unknown. Snake Gaming, I really do want you guys... it was season... 8. What season was it that he joined? It was season 6, right? Yeah.
That's when Mr. enjoys his training in 2016.
Yeah. It was season 2016 is season 6, season 5.
That's a long time ago.
Well, regardless,
as someone fined for 1 month salary using bad word in Korean rank match.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He's been one of the single most impressive junglers in the world actually. But most of the people he's got to stop it now. Oh my god. I'll put you outside next time you do that. I think that he's been just in his position where a lot of people really just don't appreciate what he does because he's not.
He can't. You can't show your great qualities on teams that are just underperforming. Even players like 957 were decent players.
Oh my, yeah,
even 957 showed great things, but on teams that are just underperforming, what do you even do? God, is 957 a backup now?
No, he is. But he's not a backup.
His contract ends next.
He's not a backup. 957 is still the starter.
They said they're gonna play the new guy right there. Pause.
Did they say that?
Yeah, I think they did. They confirmed it.
Well,
regardless, I guess they're gonna be 4th place.
I'm not disappointed by that because I don't think 957 is that good. But SOFM again, I want to point out, I know I've been kind of going over the same steps, but I want a lot of you guys to watch him because I feel like he really needs the appreciation that he just doesn't get. He's really just relatively unknown, and that's pretty much it, honestly.
I can't think of anyone else, honestly.
I can think of a lot of other people, but I don't want to have a 7-hour long video. So, because I've been going over about 10 minutes on each player at this point.
Kick us on Rogue, probably, if you want to go with that.
I don't want to go over Kickus on Rogue.
Because that is a good player on a bad team.
I will give it to him. I think that the fact that you replaced him with Mowgli...
Yamato kicked him because he said he peaked.
Yamato, I mean, I feel like he's trying too hard to be somebody behind the scenes who's too intelligent for the scene. I really... Like, I do think that he is a smart player, but to an extent, I think he's kind of underestimating a lot of these players' capabilities. Like I really think he is a better player than Yamato gave him credit for, and I think that Mowgli is a lot less of a good player than you gave him credit for. Like,
yeah, I don't think Mowgli showed any type of...
No, he was a good...
Kickus showed.
Well, no, he's a better player than Kickus, but to is he worth the import slot? Like, really not. Like, most of his function comes around ganking or like
ganking
earlier.
Top lane. Actually.
No, ganking early
ganks around mid and top.
Early aggression, and that's really not going to form. Like, it's not going to function.
I mean, early aggression can only translate one way. Like, what about games he's not ahead?
What I'm saying is, it's not about you can't really get behind unless you lose, like die.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is,
we've seen Kickus play like multiple different things.
What I'm saying is the reason that I don't think this is gonna work is because early game aggression only gets kind of, you need to like kind of give information to your other like teammates, because essentially if you're essentially running in there trying to fight them on your own, you're gonna die, and it's essentially gonna put your team behind. Like, you need to say, hey, I need help with this scuttle.
Like, he can't communicate with Jizuka the same way Kickus could.
You can't.
Hey, I'm ganking mid.
No.
The mid. Going mid?
No.
Jigu's like, no, what?
Stop being racist.
Ping?
Stop it. No more.
He's like pinging.
Stop.
Oh no, let's just use like ping, right? They're pinging. He would have to type instead of just physically saying, hey, I'm going mid.
He can
mid?
say...
Okay. Like, you can't... Like, you see how that would be a contrast? Of like, like just on-the-spot communication is way better.
What I'm saying is more so I'm worried about is his inability to tell his teammates that he's either counter jungling. All these things he has to have his teammates kind of take the lead in the lanes. I don't think he's capable of it because of the fact that his team is just not going to be able to understand. He can't really communicate it. Like, these
same problems arise with Misfits when they had Kakao. These problems eventually came up, and they were really bad at a certain point.
Well, Kakao grabbed him after a pretty mediocre year when he was on Invictus Gaming.
Oh yeah, he was on Invictus Gaming. Holy crap! Do you guys know the Fnatic and IG at Worlds are currently tied 4-4? Because IG and Fnatic were in the same group before in 2015. Long time ago. And then they eventually became finalists and won one Worlds. So, it's crazy how times in League fly. Even HQ and Cloud9. HQ knocked Cloud9 out of Worlds, and then Cloud9 2 years later knocked them out. God, I love the way League translates. I love China sometimes.
What are you even doing right now?
But I like, if eventually we're going to have a China video, I think if I had my two possible teams to win the split, I'm probably going to pick like IG or RNG. Maybe because I think that Worlds will make IG better, or World might make it worse. Because we saw what happened to Gen G.
I really think that RNG, first of all, looks mediocre. I want to point that out. That even...
They do play good in best of fives.
I think they looked pretty terrible this entire... Like, if you've watched the Demacia Cup, they've looked garbage. No direction whatsoever.
They have no direction.
Let Me is not playing right now.
Let Me doesn't even like...
No, Let Me is literally... He said he's taking a break. There's obviously...
The players on their team take breaks.
He said he's taking a break for the competitive scene. Obviously, I feel like...
They're going to play Zatai, right?
I most likely? I don't know.
Zatai's not that bad, though.
I still think this team is going to suck.
I can see them sucking in the regular split, but I can see them sucking in the sucking in the playoffs though.
I really, if this team consistently gets to the finals based off of one player, then China's a disappointing region. I don't think Uzi is enough to 1v9, which it's really going to be up to him.
I think Uzi can 1v9. It just depends on the good enough players around him.
No one can 1v9 against, like, literally Zhao, who is going to be the only other player. I don't think Carson and MLXG, they were swapping times. If you watched it, they've been swapping.
They said right here.
Yeah, he's done. I told you. Essentially,
Dandy is their head coach?
Yeah, he just took over. You don't remember that?
But I thought it was Green Tea. Green Tea's for Billy again. Bibley. Sorry about that.
Green Tea is literally on the coach. What are you talking about?
Oh, no, Green Tea is there. Oh, yes. I talked about that. Oh,
Dandy is...
They have an interesting coaching staff.
What I'm saying is, I don't believe...
I believe in their coaching. Green Tea was good when he was playing. Dandy was good when he was playing.
I mean, for a little bit. I think that, obviously, they have a lot of inconsistency on this team. I think that they don't have. They're going to be a middle tier team towards the middle top.
I think that
But-
their biggest strength, they somehow just do it in playoffs.
I don't care. I'm not going to give them credit until I see them do it because this team has literally underperformed recently.
They're gonna have Zatai, Mimoshi,
Like-
Karsa, Xiao Hu. We don't know.
Xiao
Xiao
Hu
Hu's
is
on the team.
Xiao Hu is
Oh, he was on the team. Yeah, he was playing.
Xiao Hu is worse than the top 3 teams mid laners in my opinion. I don't think he,
Xiao's gonna end up like pole belt.
honestly he might be the 5th or 6th best mid laner in the league in China right now.
I don't. If he wins MVP, I'll be so mad.
Is Xiao? I don't
So
think
I
Xiao
mean,
is-
say, yeah, that we kind of come full circle with this. That's why we just want to. Well, for RNG, I just don't even know why a person like Karsa is still maybe there, but that's,
I could see no, it's fine. I feel like he's fine there. He can speak English, and he's had a lot of time on a successful team. I don't see him leaving. I think that as it stands right now, what we've seen recently in the Demacia Cup, I know people are going to say it's just a tournament, but they're obviously all of these teams are
See,
trying
these,
right now.
the problem with those tournaments, and no one understands, like they're not going on stage and and they're not going on stage and being like, well, we're just gonna throw.
No, what I'm saying is
I'm saying like these tournaments can be obvious indicators of what is to come in the split two.
no, they are 100% in China. The tournaments are taken completely serious.
I don't care what no one says. You don't go up there and just troll.
Like
I mean, IG
really,
might, but
yeah, I honestly think that obviously if we power rank the Chinese teams right now, I would think it would go IG, then Top Gaming, then SN, then I would say
Snake Esports.
either EDG. It's gonna be between EDG and RNG for fourth place. It's really hard for me to say, but those top 3 teams look like a little bit stronger right now, and I don't see a situation where they take over. But we'll have to see. Honestly, I don't know, but that wasn't even part of the video. I just felt like going over China right now. But
That's it for me.
as it stands right now, yeah, we're all looking like that's
we
pretty much
haven't
it.
made a video. Well, this kind of a little extra because we didn't really do videos together for a couple days, so just kind of give you a little bit of some extra. And like he's gonna have a video. He said he's gonna do by himself. He hasn't even told me the idea yet. I think he said he had another one. But I'm gonna do my possible support. I have a few players from Europe, 1 from China, and 2 from LCK that I'm choosing. I don't know my LCK ones yet. I don't want to choose like Faker because that would be so obvious
On what?
for like possible MVP for LCK.
Are you doing one for each region?
I know. I mean, no, just one. At least one for China. But China's so stacked. Like, how do you single out one player out of China? Do I pick Xiao Hu for China?
I think the most.
I was gonna choose the Shy. Actually.
In China,
Yeah, I
I would
was gonna
say
choose the Shy.
as of right now, I think that like as it stands, I think that Knight could easily get it.
Oh yeah, him too.
Knight could get it. I think that Rookie obviously, but for the most part, that's pretty much it for the video. And you're pretty much gonna see only him for some reason. He's gonna not
Someday.
text me.
Some days.
There's no reason, but yes,
No, you're doing your own video tomorrow too.
just to kind of even it out because you did 17.
It's not a
without me.
competition.
It is more so I want to participate. So
Yeah. Inside for Nerds, JTH and Nightwing signing out.
don't do the like, comment, and subscribe.